When I first took the job at the county records office, I didn't expect to uncover anything beyond dusty old files and routine paperwork. It was supposed to be a simple gig, a way to pay the bills while I figured out my next move. But fate had other plans. It was on a particularly dreary Wednesday afternoon, while I was sorting through a forgotten corner of the basement archives, that I stumbled upon it. Tucked away behind a stack of unmarked boxes was an old, worn-out folder labeled Werewolf Case File. The sight of it alone was enough to send a chill down my spine. I took the folder to my desk, my hands trembling slightly as I opened it. The first thing I saw was a small, grainy photograph of a creature that looked like it had stepped right out of a nightmare. Glowing yellow eyes, sharp fangs, and dark, matted fur. It was unsettling, to say the least. Beneath the photo were pages upon pages of handwritten notes, eyewitness testimonies, and sketches detailing encounters with this fearsome creature. The meticulousness of the records was both fascinating and disturbing. Someone had gone to great lengths to compile this dossier, and as I leafed through the contents, a growing sense of dread settled over me. The stories within the file were chilling. Tales of sightings, attacks, and inexplicable phenomena spanning centuries and continents. The more I read, the more uneasy I became. There was something about the sheer volume and consistency of these accounts that made it hard to dismiss them as mere folklore or superstition. This file wasn't just a collection of old stories. It felt like a warning, a puzzle waiting to be solved. And as much as it unsettled me, I knew I had to delve deeper. I needed to understand what these files were trying to tell me. In the following pages, I'll detail the contents of this eerie case file, piece by piece. Whether you believe in werewolves or not, the stories within demand to be heard. Brace yourself. What you're about to read is not for the faint of heart. Purpose. The purpose of this case file is to provide an exhaustive analysis of werewolves, mythical creatures steeped in folklore and legend, yet often claimed to be witnessed in modern times. This document aims to consolidate various pieces of evidence, historical accounts, and scientific theories to present a coherent picture of the werewolf phenomenon. Scope. This case file delves into various aspects of werewolf lore and purported reality, covering their physical appearance, dietary habits, hunting techniques, origins, transformation processes, habitats, documented cases, and methods of defense. By examining these elements, we aim to distinguish fact from fiction and provide a resource for those studying or encountering these creatures. Historical context. Werewolves, or lycanthropes, have been a part of human folklore for millennia. The term werewolf derives from Old English were, man, and wolf, wolf, literally translating to man-wolf. Cultures across the world have their versions of werewolf legends, from the Greek myth of Lycaon, transformed into a wolf by Zeus, to the European medieval tales of cursed men roaming the countryside under the full moon. In medieval Europe, werewolves were often linked to witchcraft and were thought to be servants of the devil. During the witch hunts, many accused witches were also accused of being werewolves, leading to brutal trials and executions. The werewolf mythos was further popularized by literature and cinema, notably with the publication of The Werewolf by Clemens Hausmann in 1896 and the release of The Wolfman film in 1941. Modern relevance. Despite being rooted in ancient lore, werewolf sightings and encounters continue to be reported in contemporary times. These modern accounts often describe similar characteristics and behaviors, suggesting a persistent cultural and perhaps even biological phenomenon. This case file aims to explore these accounts and provide a framework for understanding and potentially dealing with werewolf encounters. Importance of study. Understanding werewolves is not merely an academic exercise. It has practical implications for those living in areas with reported sightings. Farmers and rural communities, in particular, have reported livestock mutilations and mysterious deaths attributed to werewolves. Urban areas are not immune, with sporadic reports surfacing even in cities. By studying these creatures, we can better prepare and protect ourselves from potential dangers. Structure of the case file. This case file is divided into 8 parts, each addressing a specific aspect of werewolves. Introduction sets the stage by providing context and explaining the significance of the study. Appearance details the physical characteristics and transformation process of werewolves. Diet and hunting style examines their dietary preferences and methods of hunting. Origins and transformation explores the various ways werewolves come into existence and the triggers for their transformations. Habitat and territories discusses the environments where werewolves are commonly found and their territorial behaviors. Documented cases and examples presents historical and modern accounts of werewolf encounters. Defense and protection offers strategies and tools for defending against werewolves. Conclusion summarizes the findings and provides final thoughts and recommendations. Conclusion of Part 1. This introductory part lays the groundwork for a detailed exploration of werewolves. By understanding their historical roots, cultural significance, and the persistent modern reports, we prepare ourselves to delve deeper into the enigmatic world of werewolves. The subsequent parts will build upon this foundation, providing a comprehensive analysis and practical guidance for dealing with these fearsome creatures. Part 2. Appearance, physical traits, transformation process. The transformation from human to werewolf is often described as both a physically painful and visually dramatic process. This metamorphosis is triggered by various factors, most notably the full moon. During the transformation, the individual's body undergoes several drastic changes: muscle and bone restructuring. The werewolf's musculature expands significantly, bones elongate and shift to accommodate a more lupine structure. Facial alterations. The skull elongates, the jaw extends to form a pronounced snout, and teeth sharpen into fangs. Growth of fur. Thick fur sprouts from the skin, covering the entire body. Claws and talons. Fingernails and toenails transform into sharp claws capable of inflicting severe damage. Witnesses often describe the transformation as taking place over several minutes, with the individual experiencing intense pain as their body contorts into its new form. The transformation is usually involuntary and uncontrollable, with the person often losing consciousness or retaining limited awareness during the process. Physical features. Once transformed, a werewolf exhibits a range of distinct physical characteristics. Height and build. Werewolves typically stand between 7 to 9 feet tall. Their build is heavily muscular, designed for power and speed. Fur. Their fur varies in color, often mirroring the hair color of their human form. It is usually dense and coarse, providing protection and insulation. Eyes. Werewolves possess eyes that reflect light, similar to nocturnal animals, often glowing yellow, red, or blue. Claws and fangs. Sharp, retractable claws and elongated fangs are their primary weapons. These are used for hunting and self-defense. Ears and nose. Enhanced sense of smell and hearing are facilitated by elongated, pointed ears and an acute nasal structure. Behavioral changes. In their werewolf form, individuals exhibit significant behavioral alterations. Increased aggression. Werewolves are notably more aggressive and territorial. Predatory instincts. They exhibit a strong predatory drive, often hunting for food or reacting violently to perceived threats. Reduced inhibition. Human morals and reasoning are suppressed, leading to uninhibited and often violent behavior. Notable characteristics. Sensory enhancements. Werewolves possess heightened senses that far exceed those of their human counterparts. Night vision. Their eyes can see clearly in low light conditions, giving them a distinct advantage during nighttime hunts. Enhanced smell. Werewolves can detect scents from great distances and distinguish between a wide variety of smells. Acute hearing. Their hearing allows them to pick up sounds that are inaudible to humans, including the heartbeat of nearby prey. Physical strength. The physical strength of a werewolf is unparalleled. Muscle power. Their muscular structure allows them to perform feats of strength such as breaking through barriers, lifting heavy objects, and overpowering most adversaries. Durability. Werewolves have a high tolerance for pain and can endure significant physical trauma without succumbing to injuries that would incapacitate a human. Agility. Werewolves exhibit exceptional agility and reflexes. Speed. They can run at extraordinary speeds, often outpacing even the fastest human athletes. Reflexes. Their reflexes are incredibly sharp, allowing them to react quickly to threats or opportunities during a hunt. Climbing and jumping. Werewolves can climb trees and leap great distances, making them formidable predators both on the ground and at heights. Historical accounts of appearance. Historical records and folklore provide a wealth of descriptions and depictions of werewolves. Medieval manuscripts often illustrated werewolves as towering, fearsome beasts, while Native American legends spoke of skinwalkers who could shift between human and wolf forms. In 16th century France, the case of Gilles Garnier, also known as the Werewolf of Dole, involved reports of a man transforming into a wolf-like creature to attack children. Witnesses described Garnier's werewolf form as a large, wolfish beast with human-like eyes and gait. He was eventually tried and executed for his alleged crimes. Modern descriptions. Contemporary accounts of werewolf sightings have maintained consistency with historical descriptions. Witnesses often report seeing large, bipedal, wolf-like creatures in rural and wooded areas. These creatures are described as having glowing eyes, sharp claws, and powerful builds. Some modern sightings have been captured on video or through photographs, though these are often of poor quality and heavily scrutinized for authenticity. Part 3. Diet and hunting style. Diet. Werewolves are predominantly carnivorous, relying heavily on a diet of fresh meat to sustain their formidable physiques. Their predatory nature and enhanced senses make them efficient hunters, capable of tracking and capturing a wide range of prey. Typical prey. Wild animals. In their natural habitats, werewolves often prey on deer, wild boar, rabbits, and other forest creatures. Their preference for wild game ensures they can remain hidden from human populations while satisfying their dietary needs. Livestock. Werewolves have been known to target livestock such as cattle, sheep, and goats. Farmers in rural areas often report mysterious livestock mutilations, attributing them to werewolf activity. Humans. Though less common, werewolf attacks on humans have been documented. These attacks are usually driven by extreme hunger, territorial disputes, or the werewolf's inability to find other prey. Victims are often found with severe bite marks and claw wounds, indicative of a werewolf's predatory style. Consumption habits. Werewolves exhibit unique eating habits that distinguish them from both wolves and humans. Feeding frenzy. Upon capturing their prey, werewolves enter a frenzied state, devouring large quantities of meat rapidly. This behavior is driven by their heightened metabolism and the need to replenish energy expended during hunting and transformation. Raw meat preference. Unlike humans, werewolves consume their prey raw, often tearing into flesh with their claws and fangs. Their digestive systems are adapted to handle raw meat, including bones and sinew, providing them with essential nutrients and minerals. Hoarding. In some cases, werewolves have been observed hoarding parts of their prey, hiding them in secluded areas to consume later. This behavior suggests a strategic approach to ensuring a steady food supply, particularly during scarce times. Hunting-style stalking. Werewolves are master stalkers, employing several tactics to track and approach their prey undetected. Silent movement. Their padded feet and agile movements allow them to move silently through dense foliage and underbrush. This stealth is crucial for getting close to prey without alerting them. Scent tracking. Werewolves rely heavily on their enhanced sense of smell to track prey over long distances. They can distinguish between individual scents, allowing them to follow specific targets with precision. Patience. Werewolves exhibit remarkable patience, often stalking their prey for hours or even days. They wait for the perfect moment to strike, ensuring a higher success rate in their hunts. Ambush tactics. When the time comes to attack, werewolves utilize ambush tactics that leverage their speed and strength. Surprise attacks. Werewolves prefer to ambush their prey, launching sudden and overwhelming attacks that leave little time for escape. They often strike from behind or from above, using their powerful legs to pounce on their targets. Coordinated strikes. In the rare instances where werewolves hunt in packs, they exhibit coordinated strategies similar to those of wolves. One werewolf may drive the prey into an ambush set by others, ensuring the group can share in the kill. Rending and tearing. Their primary method of killing involves using their claws and fangs to inflict deep wounds, quickly incapacitating their prey. They target vital areas such as the neck and abdomen to ensure a swift kill. Pack versus lone hunting. The hunting strategies of werewolves can vary significantly depending on whether they hunt alone or in packs. Lone werewolves. Solitary. Werewolves rely on stealth and surprise to capture prey. They often target smaller or weaker animals that they can overpower without assistance. Lone hunting allows for greater flexibility and independence. Pack dynamics. When hunting in packs, werewolves exhibit complex social behaviors and strategies. Packs are typically led by an alpha, who coordinates the hunt and ensures each member plays a specific role. Pack hunting allows werewolves to take down larger and more dangerous prey, sharing the spoils among the group. Documented hunting instances. Historical accounts. Historical records provide several examples of werewolf hunting behavior. The Beast of Gévaudan, 1764-1767. In the Gévaudan region of France, a series of attacks attributed to a large wolf-like creature resulted in numerous deaths. Witnesses described the creature as having wolf-like features, but being unusually large and aggressive. The beast was said to employ ambush tactics, attacking villagers and livestock with brutal efficiency. The Werewolf of Bedburg, 1589. Peter Stump, a German farmer, was accused of being a werewolf responsible for numerous killings in the town of Bedburg. Witnesses claimed Stump, in his werewolf form, hunted both livestock and humans, often dragging his victims into the forest before consuming them. Modern encounters. Contemporary reports continue to describe werewolf hunting behavior. Rural America. In regions like the Midwest and Appalachia, farmers report livestock mutilations consistent with werewolf attacks. These incidents often occur during the full moon, with animals found with deep claw marks and severe bite wounds. Eyewitness accounts. Witnesses in rural and suburban areas have reported seeing large, wolf-like creatures stalking through fields and forests. These sightings often coincide with missing pets or unexplained livestock deaths, suggesting active hunting behavior. Part 4. Origins and Transformation. Ways werewolves come to be. Lycanthropy. Curse. The most well-known origin of werewolves is the ancient curse of lycanthropy. This curse is often depicted in folklore and myth as a punishment inflicted by gods, witches, or other supernatural beings. The curse usually binds the victim to transform into a wolf-like creature during the full moon, dooming them to a life of monstrous transformation and uncontrollable bloodlust. Historical context. Many medieval texts recount stories of individuals cursed by malevolent forces. For example, the Greek myth of King Lycaon tells of his transformation into a wolf by Zeus as punishment for serving the god human flesh. Rituals and curses. Certain rituals or curses involving powerful magic can also lead to lycanthropy. These rituals often involve invoking dark forces or using rare ingredients to bind a person's soul to the curse. Genetic transmission. In some folklore, lycanthropy is considered a hereditary condition, passed down through family lines. This genetic predisposition means that individuals born into werewolf families have an inherent potential for transformation. Family lineage. Families with a history of lycanthropy often keep their condition secret, passing down knowledge and coping mechanisms through generations. Genetic markers. There have been fictional scientific studies in literature that suggest specific genetic markers could be responsible for the werewolf condition, theorizing that certain DNA sequences activate under the right conditions, for example, the presence of a full moon. Bites and scratches. A more immediate method of becoming a werewolf involves being bitten or scratched by another werewolf. This method is often portrayed in modern media and has become a staple of werewolf lore. Transmission process. When a werewolf's saliva or blood enters a victim's bloodstream through a bite or scratch, it infects the person with lycanthropy. The process of transformation can begin almost immediately or over a longer period, depending on the lore. Symptoms of infection. Initial symptoms often include fever, chills, and heightened senses. As the infection takes hold, the individual may experience uncontrollable rage and an insatiable hunger. Rituals and spells. Certain occult rituals and spells can also result in lycanthropy. These are often performed by individuals seeking power or revenge, and involve invoking dark forces to bestow the ability to transform. Dark rituals. Ancient texts and grimoires contain rituals that, when performed correctly, can grant the power of transformation. These rituals often require rare ingredients, elaborate ceremonies, and the willingness to embrace dark magic. Voluntary transformation. In some cases, individuals willingly undergo these rituals, seeking the strength and abilities of a werewolf. These transformations are often accompanied by a loss of humanity and an increase in feral instincts. Transformation triggers. Full moon. The most iconic trigger for werewolf transformation is the full moon. This celestial event is believed to activate the curse or genetic condition, forcing the transformation from human to werewolf. Lunar influence. The connection between the full moon and lycanthropy is deeply rooted in folklore. Many cultures believe that the moon's power influences the transformation process, with werewolves becoming uncontrollable and feral during this time. Transformation cycle. The transformation typically begins at dusk and continues until dawn, with the werewolf reverting to human form as the sun rises. The intensity and duration of the transformation can vary depending on the lore. Emotional extremes. Extreme emotional states, such as intense anger, fear, or stress, can also trigger transformations. This aspect of lycanthropy suggests a psychological element to the condition, where the werewolf's inner turmoil manifests physically. Emotional catalysts. Instances of heightened emotion can break down the individual's control, allowing the werewolf form to take over. This can happen during moments of intense rage, fear for one's life, or overwhelming grief. Involuntary transformations. Unlike the predictable full moon cycle, emotional triggers can lead to unpredictable and dangerous transformations, posing a constant threat to those with lycanthropy. Involuntary versus voluntary transformations. The control over the transformation process can vary among werewolves. Some can transform at will, while others are at the mercy of external triggers. Involuntary transformations. Most werewolves are subject to involuntary transformations, particularly during the full moon or when experiencing intense emotions. These transformations are often uncontrollable and result in a loss of human reasoning. Voluntary transformations. Some werewolves, particularly those who have embraced their condition or undergone specific training, can transform at will. These individuals retain more control over their actions and can harness their werewolf abilities without losing their humanity entirely. Historical accounts of origins and transformation. Medieval Europe. In medieval Europe, werewolf trials were common, with many individuals accused of lycanthropy based on local superstition and fear. The Werewolf of Bedburg. Peter Stump, a German farmer, confessed under torture to using a magical belt to transform into a wolf. His case became infamous, with detailed accounts of his transformation and subsequent crimes. French werewolf trials. Numerous werewolf trials occurred in France during the 16th and 17th centuries. Individuals accused of being werewolves were often tortured and executed based on confessions obtained under duress. Native American legends. Native American folklore includes tales of shapeshifters known as skinwalkers who can transform into animals, including wolves. Navajo skinwalkers. According to Navajo legend, skinwalkers are witches who can take on animal forms, including wolves. These shapeshifters use their abilities for nefarious purposes, and their transformations are tied to dark rituals and curses. Cultural significance. These legends highlight the belief in human-animal transformation across different cultures and the association with dark magic and curses. Part 5. Habitat and Territories. Preferred Environments. Forests and Woodlands. Werewolves are most commonly associated with dense forests and woodlands, environments that offer them the cover and seclusion necessary for hunting and hiding. Dense foliage. Forests provide ample cover with their thick underbrush and tall trees, allowing werewolves to move stealthily and remain hidden from both prey and potential threats. Natural prey. These environments are rich with natural prey such as deer, boar, and smaller mammals, which are essential for the werewolf's carnivorous diet. Solitude and territory. Forests and woodlands offer the space needed for werewolves to establish their territories without frequent human interference. They can mark and defend these areas effectively, reducing the likelihood of encounters with humans. Rural areas. While forests are the primary habitat, werewolves also venture into rural areas, particularly those adjacent to woodlands. These regions provide additional hunting opportunities and occasional contact with livestock. Farmsteads and livestock. Rural areas often have farms with livestock that make for easy prey. Cattle, sheep, and goats are frequently targeted, leading to mysterious livestock mutilations reported by farmers. Human. Proximity. Despite their preference for seclusion, werewolves occasionally come into closer contact with human settlements in rural areas. These encounters often result in panic and increased local folklore about werewolf activity. Transitional zones. Rural areas serve as transitional zones between dense forests and more urbanized regions, offering a blend of natural cover and accessible prey. Urban encounters. Although rare, there have been instances of werewolves in urban settings. These encounters are often brief and fraught with danger due to the werewolf's need for cover and the risk of exposure. Sewer systems and abandoned buildings. In urban environments, werewolves may use sewer systems, tunnels, and abandoned buildings as temporary refuges. These locations provide some degree of cover and seclusion. Increased risk. Urban settings pose significant risks for werewolves due to the high human population density and limited cover. Encounters in these areas often result in heightened fear and swift responses from authorities. Documented sightings. There are sporadic reports of werewolf sightings in urban areas, typically involving brief glimpses or fleeting encounters at night. These incidents contribute to urban legends and local myths. Territorial behavior. Marking territory. Werewolves are highly territorial creatures, and they employ various methods to mark and defend their domains. Scent marking. One of the primary methods of territory marking is through scent. Werewolves use their urine, feces, and glandular secretions to leave scent markers around their territory. These markers communicate boundaries to other werewolves and potential intruders. Physical markings. Werewolves also use physical markers, such as claw marks on trees and rocks, to delineate their territory. These marks serve as visual warnings to other creatures. Auditory signals. Howling is another method used to establish territory. Werewolves' howls can carry over long distances, signaling their presence and warding off rivals. Range and movement. The range of a werewolf's territory can vary significantly depending on the availability of food, the density of the local werewolf population, and environmental factors. Typical range. A werewolf's territory typically spans several square miles, encompassing a variety of hunting grounds and safe havens. The exact size of the territory depends on the abundance of prey and the presence of other predators. Migratory patterns. Werewolves may exhibit migratory behavior, particularly in response to seasonal changes and food availability. During leaner times, they might expand their range or move to new areas to find adequate sustenance. Patrol and defense. Werewolves regularly patrol their territory, especially along its boundaries. They defend their domain aggressively against intruders, including other werewolves and large predators. Historical accounts of habitat and territories. Medieval Europe. Historical accounts from medieval Europe often describe werewolves inhabiting the dense forests and remote villages of the time. The Black Forest. The Black Forest in Germany has long been associated with werewolf legends. Stories from the region tell of men who transformed into wolves and roamed the forest, preying on livestock and unwary travelers. French countryside. The French countryside, particularly regions like Gévaudan, is rich with werewolf folklore. These tales often involve werewolves lurking in the woods and attacking isolated farmsteads. Native American legends. Native American folklore also provides insights into the habitats and territorial behaviors of shapeshifters and werewolves. Skinwalker territory. Navajo legends of skinwalkers often describe these beings living in remote, desolate areas. They use their ability to transform to travel vast distances and mark their territories with various symbols and signs. Guardian spirits. Some Native American tribes believe that werewolves or similar creatures act as guardians of the forest, maintaining the natural balance and warding off threats to their territory. Modern encounters and research. Contemporary reports. Modern sightings and encounters with werewolves continue to align with historical accounts regarding their preferred habitats and territorial behaviors. Rural America. In the Midwest and Appalachia, farmers report livestock mutilations and eerie howls at night. These areas are often near dense forests, providing ideal conditions for werewolf activity. European forests. Reports from Europe, particularly in rural France and Germany, describe sightings of large, wolf-like creatures in forests known for their dark history of werewolf legends. Scientific studies. Though largely fictional, some scientific studies and literature explore the possibility of werewolf habitats and territories from a more analytical perspective. Environmental analysis. Hypothetical studies might examine the ecological impact of werewolves, considering factors like prey populations, territorial ranges, and interspecies competition. Behavioral research. Fictional research often delves into the behavioral patterns of werewolves, including their hunting strategies, social structures, and territorial disputes. Part 6. Documented cases and examples. Historical accounts. The Beast of Gévaudan, 1764-1767. One of the most infamous werewolf cases is that of the Beast of Gévaudan, a creature that terrorized the French region of Gévaudan, modern-day Lozère, between 1764 and 1767. This beast was described as a large wolf-like animal responsible for numerous attacks and deaths. Eyewitness descriptions. Witnesses described the beast as being much larger than a typical wolf, with reddish fur, a long tail, and a powerful build. It was said to have an unusually large mouth and sharp teeth. Attack patterns. The beast primarily targeted women and children, often attacking in broad daylight. It displayed a level of cunning and ferocity that suggested more than just an ordinary wolf. Response and resolution. The French government took significant steps to capture the beast, including organizing large-scale hunts. Jean Chastel, a local hunter, is credited with killing the beast in 1767, although some believe multiple animals were involved. The Werewolf of Bedburg, 1589. Peter Stump, also known as the Werewolf of Bedburg, was a German farmer accused of being a werewolf and responsible for a series of brutal murders in the town of Bedburg. Confession and trial. Under torture, Stump confessed to making a pact with the devil and using a magical belt to transform into a wolf. He claimed to have killed livestock and humans alike, engaging in cannibalism. Execution. Stump was executed in 1589, along with his daughter and mistress, who were accused of being his accomplices. His case became a prominent example of werewolf trials in Europe. Legacy. The story of Peter Stump has been retold in various forms, highlighting the fear and superstitions surrounding werewolves during the medieval period. Native American legends. Navajo skinwalkers. In Navajo culture, skinwalkers, or Yi-Nal-Dlushi, are witches who can transform into animals, including wolves. These shapeshifters are considered malevolent and dangerous. Transformation abilities. Skinwalkers are believed to use dark magic to transform into animals. They often wear the skins of the animals they wish to become, giving them supernatural abilities. Behavior and motivations. Skinwalkers are said to engage in malicious activities, including causing illness and death. Their transformations are often motivated by personal vendettas or desires for power. Cultural significance. Skinwalkers hold a significant place in Navajo folklore, serving as cautionary tales about the dangers of dark magic and the importance of adhering to cultural norms and values. Modern encounters. The Michigan Dogman. The Michigan Dogman is a cryptid reported in Michigan, particularly in the northwestern part of the state. Sightings of this creature have been reported since the late 19th century. Physical description. Witnesses describe the Dogman as a bipedal creature standing over 7 feet tall with the head of a wolf and the body of a muscular man. It is often reported to have piercing blue or amber eyes. Notable sightings. One of the most famous sightings occurred in 1987 when a disc jockey released a song called The Legend, which described various encounters with the Dogman. This led to a surge in reported sightings and interest in the creature. Behavior. The Dogman is said to be extremely elusive, often seen only for brief moments before disappearing into the wilderness. It is described as having a powerful, intimidating presence. The Bray Road Beast. The Beast of Bray Road is another modern cryptid reported in Elkhorn, Wisconsin. Sightings of this creature, also known as the Wisconsin werewolf, have been reported since the late 20th century. Eyewitness reports. Witnesses describe the creature as a large, wolf-like being that walks on its hind legs. It is said to have a muscular build, covered in fur, and a snarling, intimidating demeanor. Documented sightings. Linda Godfrey, a local reporter, brought attention to the Beast of Bray Road in the early 1990s through a series of articles and books. Her work documented numerous eyewitness accounts and attempted to piece together the mystery. Local impact. The Bray Road Beast has become a local legend, with residents and visitors alike sharing stories and theories about the creature. It has also become a part of local folklore and tourism. Scientific studies and skeptical perspectives. Biological and genetic research. Fictional scientific studies in literature and speculative research often explore the biological and genetic aspects of lycanthropy, attempting to provide a rational explanation for the werewolf phenomenon. Genetic theories. Some speculative studies suggest that lycanthropy could be the result of a rare genetic mutation that activates under specific conditions, such as exposure to the full moon or heightened emotional states. Biological mechanisms. Hypothetical research might explore how certain physiological changes, such as rapid muscle growth, sensory enhancements, and fur development, could be triggered by hormonal shifts or external stimuli. Psychological analysis. Psychological studies often examine the mental state of individuals who believe themselves to be werewolves, providing insights into the psychological aspects of lycanthropy. Clinical lycanthropy. This rare psychiatric syndrome involves individuals believing they can transform into wolves or other animals. Psychological analysis explores the underlying causes, such as trauma, delusions, and cultural influences. Behavioral patterns. Studies might investigate the behaviors associated with lycanthropy, including aggression, hypervigilance, and identity dissociation, attempting to understand how these behaviors manifest and can be managed. Part 7. Defense and protection. Preventive measures. Silver weapons. Silver has long been believed to possess properties that can harm or even kill werewolves. This belief is deeply rooted in folklore and has been perpetuated by literature and film. Historical beliefs. The association between silver and werewolf vulnerability dates back to medieval Europe, where silver was considered a pure and holy metal, capable of warding off evil. Modern interpretations. In contemporary fiction, silver bullets are often depicted as the ultimate weapon against werewolves. This belief has led to the production of silver-tipped weapons and ammunition in various narratives. Effectiveness. While the scientific basis for silver's effectiveness against werewolves is purely speculative, it remains a popular and symbolic tool in the fight against these creatures. Wolfsbane. Wolfsbane, also known as aconitum, is a toxic plant often associated with werewolf lore. It is believed to have protective properties against werewolves. Folklore and mythology. In various legends, wolfsbane is used to repel werewolves, or even poison them. It is often depicted as a key ingredient in potions or spells designed to ward off these creatures. Modern usage. Wolfsbane is sometimes incorporated into fictional stories as a means of protection. Characters might carry wolfsbane sachets or brew teas with the plant to defend themselves. Toxic properties. The real-life toxicity of wolfsbane makes it dangerous to handle. While it might not affect werewolves as depicted in folklore, its lethal properties are well documented. Protective charms and talismans. Various cultures have developed charms and talismans believed to protect against werewolves and other supernatural threats. Amulets and symbols. Protective symbols such as pentagrams, crosses, and other sacred imagery are often used in folklore to ward off werewolves. These items are believed to create a barrier against evil. Ritual practices. Some traditions involve specific rituals to bless or empower protective items, enhancing their efficacy against werewolves. Effectiveness. The actual protective power of these items is based on belief and tradition. While their effectiveness is unproven, they offer psychological comfort and a sense of security. Self-defense tactics. Avoidance strategies. The best way to survive a werewolf encounter is to avoid one altogether. Understanding werewolf behavior and knowing how to stay out of their way is crucial. Stay indoors during the full moon. Since werewolves are most active during the full moon, staying indoors and avoiding wooded or rural areas during this time is a prudent precaution. Travel in groups. Werewolves are less likely to attack groups of people. Traveling in numbers can reduce the risk of an encounter. Be aware of signs. Knowing the signs of werewolf activity, such as howling, unusual animal behavior, and large tracks, can help you stay alert and avoid danger. Combat techniques. If an encounter with a werewolf is unavoidable, certain combat techniques can increase the chances of survival. Silver weapons. Using silver-tipped weapons such as knives, swords, or bullets can be effective. Aim for vital areas such as the heart or head. Fire. Werewolves, like many animals, are typically afraid of fire. Carrying torches or flares can provide a means of defense and deterrence. Target weak points. If silver is not available, aim for vulnerable spots like the eyes and throat. This can incapacitate the werewolf long enough to escape. Survival gear. Preparing the right gear can significantly improve your chances of surviving a werewolf encounter. Protective clothing. Wearing thick, durable clothing can offer some protection against bites and scratches. Leather or reinforced fabrics are ideal. First aid kit. In case of injury, a well-stocked first aid kit can be crucial. Include antiseptics, bandages, and painkillers. Emergency supplies. Carrying emergency supplies such as water, food, and a flashlight can help you survive if you need to hide or escape for an extended period. Historical and modern defense examples. Historical defenses. Historical records provide several examples of how people defended themselves against werewolves. Medieval Europe. During the werewolf trials, individuals accused of lycanthropy were often executed using silver weapons. Villagers also employed protective charms and rituals to ward off werewolf attacks. Ancient rituals. Various cultures performed rituals to protect against werewolves, including the use of sacred herbs, incantations, and the creation of protective symbols. Modern practices. Contemporary accounts and fictional stories continue to explore methods of defense against werewolves. Silver bullet production. In some modern narratives, specialized manufacturers produce silver bullets for use against werewolves. These stories often depict hunters and law enforcement using these weapons to great effect. Survivalist techniques. Books, movies, and television shows often depict characters using a combination of traditional and modern survival techniques to combat werewolves, blending folklore with contemporary knowledge. Part 8. Conclusion. Summary of findings. Throughout this case file, we have explored the multifaceted nature of werewolves, delving into their appearance, diet, hunting styles, origins, transformations, habitats, documented cases, and defense mechanisms. Our exploration has painted a comprehensive picture of these enigmatic creatures, blending historical accounts, cultural legends, and modern reports to provide a detailed understanding of werewolves. Recap of key points. appearance. Werewolves are characterized by their dramatic transformation from human to wolf-like creatures, featuring enhanced physical traits such as muscular builds, sharp claws, fangs, and heightened senses. Their transformation is often triggered by the full moon, but can also be influenced by emotional extremes and voluntary control in some cases. Diet and hunting style. Primarily carnivorous, werewolves prey on wild animals, livestock, and occasionally humans. Their hunting techniques involve silent stalking, ambush tactics, and a combination of lone and pack hunting strategies. They exhibit a preference for raw meat and display behaviors such as hoarding and frenzied feeding. Origins and transformation. Werewolves originate from various sources, including curses, genetic inheritance, bites or scratches, and occult rituals. Transformation triggers include the full moon, emotional extremes, and voluntary control. Historical and cultural accounts highlight the diverse ways in which individuals can become werewolves and the processes that govern their transformations. Habitat and territories. Werewolves prefer dense forests and woodlands, but also venture into rural areas and, rarely, urban environments. They are territorial creatures, marking and defending their domains through scent, physical markers, and auditory signals. Their migratory and patrol patterns vary based on environmental factors and prey availability. Documented cases and examples. Historical and modern accounts provide a wealth of information on werewolf encounters. Notable cases such as the Beast of Gevaudan, the Werewolf of Bedburg, and the Michigan Dogman offer insights into werewolf behavior and the persistent belief in these creatures across different cultures and time periods. Defense and protection. Defending against werewolves involves a combination of historical wisdom, cultural practices, and modern survival strategies. Silver weapons, wolfsbane, protective charms, and combat techniques are essential tools for survival. Understanding and utilizing these defenses can significantly enhance one's chances of surviving an encounter with werewolves. Final thoughts. The enduring fascination with werewolves stems from their complex nature and the blend of human and animal characteristics they embody. Werewolves represent the primal and untamed aspects of humanity, challenging our understanding of the natural world and our place within it. Whether viewed through the lens of folklore, psychology, or cryptozoology, werewolves continue to captivate and terrify, leaving an indelible mark on our collective imagination. Recommendations for further research. To deepen our understanding of werewolves, further research should focus on several key areas. Historical documentation. Continued exploration of historical records and folklore can provide additional context and insights into the evolution of werewolf myths and their cultural significance. Scientific inquiry. Hypothetical studies on the biological and genetic aspects of lycanthropy can offer speculative explanations for the phenomenon, bridging the gap between myth and science. Psychological analysis. Examining the psychological aspects of lycanthropy, including clinical lycanthropy, and the impact of cultural beliefs on behavior, can enhance our understanding of the human mind and its susceptibility to supernatural themes. Field research, investigating modern sightings and encounters with werewolves, including the collection and analysis of physical evidence, can provide valuable data for cryptozoologists and enthusiasts. Conclusion of the case file. This case file has provided a comprehensive analysis of werewolves, exploring their various aspects through a combination of historical accounts, cultural legends, and modern reports. By understanding the physical traits, behaviors, origins, habitats, and defense mechanisms associated with werewolves, we gain a deeper appreciation for these enigmatic creatures and the enduring myths that surround them. Whether as a subject of academic study, a source of cultural fascination, or a focus of fictional narratives, werewolves continue to inspire curiosity and fear, ensuring their place in the annals of supernatural lore. Acknowledgements. We would like to acknowledge the contributions of historians, folklorists, scientists, and enthusiasts whose work has enriched our understanding of werewolves. Their dedication to preserving and exploring these myths has provided a valuable foundation for this case file. Final note. This document is strictly for the use of the Paranormal Investigations and Containment Bureau, PICB employees only. Unauthorized access will be met with swift and severe consequences. As we conclude this exploration of werewolves, we leave you with a final cautionary note. The contents of this file are disturbing, and their implications far-reaching. Werewolves, as documented here, reveal a dark and enigmatic side of our world, one that challenges our understanding of reality. Approach this material with an open mind and a sense of vigilance. The accounts and evidence within are more than mere stories. They are a window into a hidden world that exists parallel to our own. Stay alert, stay curious, and remember the lessons detailed in this case file as you navigate the shadows of the unknown. Knowledge is a powerful tool, but it also comes with great responsibility. The truth, obscured by darkness and fear, awaits those daring enough to seek it. Proceed with caution, for the unknown harbors more than secrets. It holds the key to understanding the very fabric of our existence. Finding this case file on my first day at the county records office was nothing short of unsettling. What started as a routine job turned into a dive into a world I never imagined existed. The werewolf case file, with its disturbing photos, detailed notes, and chilling accounts, has left me rattled. I've shared with you the first part of what I've discovered, but there's so much more lurking in these pages. I'm hesitant to go further, yet I feel a strange pull to uncover the rest. If there's interest, I'll continue to dig deeper and reveal more of these dark secrets. For now, I need to step away and process what I've found. But if you're as curious and disturbed by these findings as I am, let me know.